This video is to show you how to set up the operation and some troubleshooting methods for the Eberle design model LMA-1250 detector. This detector has rear-mounted dip switches and front panel buttons, so you can set up operational parameters including frequency, sensitivity, and much more. It has a single loop with a programmable dual relay output. Let's get started on setting up the detector. Once the unit is powered up, you should see a green light on the LED. The 7-segment LED deflectometer will quickly flash the loop frequency. For example, you may see a 4 and 2, indicating 42 kHz. To check for the frequency with the unit already on, just push the reset button. It will quickly flash the loop frequency. There are 4 settings for the frequency: high, medium, low, and low. To adjust the frequency, they are selectable by the 2-position dip switches on the back top of the detector. What you want to do is, if you have multiple detectors, you want to make sure that each detector is set for a different frequency. If you don't do this, you could get crosstalk between the detectors. With the deflectometer, it makes it quick and easy to set the sensitivity of the detector. Place a typical mid-sized car or small pickup over a properly installed loop. You want to see a value of 5 displayed on the deflectometer, and the detect output LED should be red. This is an optimum sensitivity setting. If the typical vehicle is completely in the detection zone, the output A LED is on and the display is not 5, you will need to adjust it. To adjust, push the up or down button on the front panel of the detector until the deflectometer displays the value of 5. Now the detector is ready to detect vehicles. Let's show you how the detector operates. When a car is placed on the loop, the output A LED light will illuminate red. Output B LED light will blink, and the deflectometer should show a number. This is to let you know that there is a vehicle over the loop. At this point, the unit will activate the output relays. The output relay A will stay activated until the vehicle leaves. This is the factory default setting, which we call infinite presence mode. To change this setting for the output A relay, you can do so by changing the second dip switch on the 8-position dip switches on the back. When dip switch 2 is in the on position called limited presence mode, this feature is used at locations that have a compromised loop that periodically locks up. The presence detect output relay A hold time is between 5 minutes minimum and 3 hours maximum, and after that time the detector will retune. With the model LMA-1250, you have a second relay. To change output relay B to operate in different modes, there are 2 switches on the back. They are 6 and 7. As output relay A is doing its thing, output B relay will pulse its relay when a vehicle enters the loop zone. These 2 dip switches are in the off position at this time. With the dip switch 6 off and 7 on, the output relay B provides a pulse when a vehicle exits the loop zone. With dip switch 6 on and 7 off, the output relay B operates in presence mode and follows the operation of output A. With both switches on, the output relay B will stay in the normal closed position. With the model LMA-1250, you have a sensitivity boost mode. From the 8-position dip switch on the lower back, you have a sensitivity boost switch. This feature is useful in preventing dropouts during the passage of high bed vehicles or when a vehicle is towing a trailer. To activate this setting, turn on dip switch 1. Another feature is if you want to put a 2-second delay on the output relay. If the delay feature is activated, the output will only be turned on after the 2-second delay of time has passed with a vehicle continuously present in the loop detection zone. If a vehicle leaves the loop detection zone during a delay interval, detection is aborted and the output A LED will flash. The deflectometer will display the letter D, and the detector indicates that a vehicle is being detected, but that the output is being delayed. Once the 2 seconds are up, the output A LED will illuminate solidly. The deflectometer will display a number, and the output relay will go to the close position. To activate this feature, you must use dip switch 3 on the back. You may want to have an extension time to a call. An output extension time of 0, 2, 5, or 10 seconds can be programmed using dip switches 4 and 5 on the back. Output extension time is the time following the loss of detection before the detect output is dropped. If another vehicle enters the loop during the extension time period, the extension timer is reset to 0, and a full extension time period follows the departure of the last detected vehicle. Note, the deflectometer will display the letter E during the extend period. This feature does not affect pulse mode. Now let's talk about if you have a loop fault indication or issues with the detector. With no power LED or a blinking LED, this is telling you that you have a power issue and you should check the input voltage to the unit. To check the voltage, you will need a voltmeter. Look on the side of the detector unit and see what the voltage should be, knowing that you should set your meter to measure that voltage. For example, if it's a 120 volt AC unit, you should set your meter to the AC reading. If it's 24 to 48 volts DC, you should set it to the DC reading. Once you set the meter, take one of the 2 probes and input it into pin 1 of the socket, and the other put into pin 2 of the socket. And make sure that the meter is reading the correct voltage for the detector you're using. If the power is reading what you need, there may be an issue with the unit. If the power is wrong, you need to take care of the power supply before the unit will work. The LMA-1250 detector continuously checks the integrity of the loop. The system is able to detect shorted or open circuit loops, or sudden changes in inductance exceeding 25% of the nominal inductance. If a loop fault is detected, the detect and loop fault LEDs continuously emit a sequence of flashes. Additionally, the 7-segment deflectometer displays the code F1, F2, or F3, indicating a current loop fault. Each type of fault is identified by a different flash sequence. So for example, if your loop fault and output LED is blinking once a second and the deflectometer display is showing a F1, this is an indication that you have an open loop or circuit. To troubleshoot this issue, look to make sure the loop is connected. Most of the time, it is a loose wire connection or the lead-in wire has been cut. If you cannot find a cut, then you will need to test the loop. If your loop fault and output LED is blinking twice a second and the deflectometer display is showing a F2, this is an indication that you have a shorted loop. Once again, check the wire connection or the lead-in wire for any issues. If you cannot find an issue, then you will need to test the loop. If the open or shorted fault condition self-heals, the detect output indicator and 7-segment deflectometer will return to normal operation. The loop fault indicator will continue to flash with a sequence signifying the type of fault that was last detected. In the case of the excessive inductance change fault, the unit will retune to the new inductance after a period of 2 seconds and continue operation. The fault will be indicated by the flash sequence of the loop fault indicator. Pressing the reset button will reset the detector and clear the flash sequence from the loop fault indicator. To review the last loop fault condition, simply press and hold the reset button for 2 seconds. This is the basic operation of the LMA-1250 Eberly design detector.